afternoon. Today is Friday, October 25th. Welcome back to RMU Live. I'm Isabella Harris.
And I'm Brett McGulick. And we have some great news for you today.
A former Sports Illustrated model accused former President Donald Trump of groping her in the 1990s. Stacey Williams told CNN that her alleged encounter was outside of Trump's office in Trump Tower in the early 90s, when she was dating Jeffrey Epstein for a brief moment. A Trump campaign spokeswoman, Caroline Leavitt, stated, quote, "These accusations announced on Harris's campaign call 2 weeks ago before the election are false," end quote. The Trump campaign believes this is a false story to distract from the new allegations involving the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff's, assaulting his ex-girlfriend in 2012. A spokesperson for Emhoff denied the claim.
The finish line is getting closer as we are less than 2 weeks away from the 2024 presidential election. In a lively town hall event Wednesday night, Vice President Kamala Harris addressed key issues affecting American families. She emphasized support for working households, highlighting initiatives to lower child care and health care costs. The Democratic nominee's message during the town hall also focused on, quote, warning Americans, particularly undecided voters, as well as moderate Republicans. The former President Trump, quote, poses a threat to nations' principles, end quote.
Former President Barack Obama stopped in Pittsburgh on Thursday to kick off a campaign blitz for Kamala Harris. He gave remarks at a rally urging people to back behind Harris. He also went to a local campaign field office, thanking all the workers and volunteers. He and former First Lady Michelle Obama endorsed Harris in July, stating that they would do anything and everything they could to help her win in November. Obama is expected to visit other swing states and well before the election day. Colorado is currently investigating ballot fraud in at least 12 mail-in ballots. These ballots were apparently already filled out and turned in before voters even received them. When the ballots made it back to Mesa County Board of Elections, they were flagged for review due to the inconsistencies with the verification of Mesa County. Clerk Bobby Gross stated, quote, "Our priority is to handle this investigation with the utmost care and diligence, and I believe that prematurely releasing details could compromise our ability to hold those responsible and accountable," end quote. This is currently an ongoing investigation.
Keeping on the news of the election, Vice President Harris will be bringing the star power to the final laps of the election race. After giving her endorsement to Harris a few months back, 32-time Grammy Award winner Beyonce will stand alongside Vice President Harris in a rally taking place in Houston later today. The appearance, which Beyonce will appear with Willie Nelson, is designed to be one of the biggest closing acts for the campaign. After receiving Beyonce's endorsement, Harris has been using her song "Freedom" as her official campaign anthem. PA swing state tendencies become a topic of discussion once again, as Elon Musk is awarding those in swing states who signed a petition a chance at $1 million. CNN has more news on this case, so let's take a look.
We're going to be awarding $1 million to randomly to people who have signed the petition every day from now until the election.
First, it happened in Harrisburg on Saturday.
By the way, John had no idea. So anyway, you're welcome.
Then again, just outside Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Up there? Okay.
Elon Musk made a promise to hand out $1 million each day until Election Day to registered voters in battleground states who signed his petition supporting the First and Second Amendments. So far, 4 winners identified, and according to publicly available records, all previously registered Republican voters. Musk's signature on all the checks.
Hey, my name is John.
John Dreyer at that event in Harrisburg, followed by Christine Fischel, who took the stage outside Pittsburgh. Shannon Tomei announced in McKees Rock, Pennsylvania, and Andy Steinley named in Holly Springs, North Carolina. CNN could not reach any of the winners for comment. Musk's super PAC has not returned requests for comment as well. In social media posts, the group says winners would be selected to earn $1 million as a spokesperson for America PAC. Some of them have already recorded videos for Musk's Political Action Committee. According to Musk's Super PAC website, only those registered to vote in swing states of Arizona, Michigan, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin are eligible to win. Sources tell CNN the Justice Department sent a letter to the Super PAC warning the daily $1 million giveaway to registered voters in swing states might violate federal laws, citing it's illegal to incentivize registration with cash or prizes.
I think for new voters who might register to vote, and this being the inducement, like I can have an opportunity to get $1 million, it certainly feels like that kind of exchange. At the same time, the United States Supreme Court has been very narrow in how it's construed bribery statutes.
Mueller also warns that voters who signed the petition could potentially face legal trouble for accepting money in exchange for their vote. Though it should be noted, the DOJ has not accused any winners or signers of the petition of any wrongdoing.
I think what the Department of Justice is going to be weighing as it tries to figure out whether to prosecute and how aggressive it wants to be in its theory.
If calculating from the day Musk first gave out that first honorary check, it would total 18 winners, $18 million. Perhaps a drop in the bucket for the world's richest billionaire who has already donated nearly $75 million to his pro-Trump super PAC. The question is, will it have a ripple effect among registered voters in those swing states where polling indicates the presidential race is still a toss-up?
There's some bad publicity that you've seen out there as people are upset, alleging that he's essentially trying to buy an election. But then there are people who think it's good that he's stepping up and showing his support for Trump.
Elon Musk is still giving away $1 million lottery tickets after being warned by the Department of Justice.
Donald Trump's legal team is asking a federal court to dismiss the January 6, 2021 election subversion case, saying that the special counsel, Jack Smith, is unconstitutional, with a court ruling just 12 days before a presidential election. Trump's lawyers continue to argue that everything Smith has done since Attorney General Merrick Garland's appointment as Trump was campaigning has been, quote, unlawful and unconstitutional, end quote.
While Vice President Harris, joined by Beyonce, will be making a stop in Houston today, former President Trump will be in the Lone Star State as well. President Trump is set to record a podcast with Joe Rogan in Austin today. After the podcast taping, the Republican nominee is set to make a speech in the Austin Bergstrom International Airport. The latest New York Times and Siena College poll found them both tied at 48% in the popular vote. It is expected that both campaigns will be making another round in the battleground states as they get closer to the finish line of this tight race. Kentucky State Senator Johnny Turner, a Republican from Harlan, has died at 76 following injuries from a lawnmower incident at his home after plunging into an empty pool while with the mower. Known for his strong support of the coal industry and his folksy charm, Turner was remembered for his commitment to Eastern Kentucky. Senate President Robert Stivers praised him for a lifetime of service, stating, quote, Johnny spent his life lifting others, end quote. Turner's contributions as veteran, legislator, and lawyer left a lasting impact on his community.
We're going to send it over to reporter Ed DiTorio to hear more about how Odyssey School was impacted by the Hurricane Helene and their efforts to find relief.
We're going to continue to be flexible in our schedule. We're going to continue to go slow.
That's not the only thing the Odyssey School had to be flexible about.
Totes were hard to come by. Porta potties were hard to come by.
To bring students back, Odyssey got creative with its facilities.
Our great facilities manager said, look, we can build a sink and get school, because the most important thing is for us to get kids back in the building.
Flushing water coming from what the city can supply right now. The sinks being refilled with well and drinking water.
Now we have really clean water for kids to wash their hands in, and we also have hand sanitizer to make sure that they can knock off any extra germs or whatever.
And while students had enough to return to class on Wednesday, they are still without a lot. One of the things that some kids look forward to most when they come to school, recess. Their playground not usable. For weeks, maybe months. However, for some students at the Odyssey School, this is far from their biggest loss.
We lost our beloved Miss Shirley Rotolo, who's an amazing kindergarten teacher and was trained by one of the founders and one of the earliest teachers here at Odyssey School.
Through the losses and adjustments, staff is focusing on learning and processing.
Our message is go slow. You have multiple things to process. Go slow. Kids are super resilient. They know what's going on, and some are going to process it in a multitude of different ways.
And help from the outside is aiding that process. Miss Rotolo's kindergarten class got a surprise on their first day back without their homeroom leader.
It was such a great phone call to get about bringing those teddy bears in for the kids. We're going to continue to hug the kids, fist bump the kids, high five the kids, and we're going to continue to encourage them to learn. I'm going to do anything I can to support these kids no matter what, because I love this work, I love my students, I love this school.
The Odyssey School is doing everything in their power to provide normalcy for those kids after the loss of a staff member and destruction to their buildings.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is set to meet with Jordanian and Emirati foreign ministers, as well as Lebanon's caretaker prime minister in London on Friday. The discussions will focus on stability and reconstruction in Gaza following the war, and on the impact of Israel's military campaign against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Blinken has stressed the conflict, quote, should not lead to a protracted campaign, end quote, and urged Israel to protect civilians. This meeting wraps up a trip that included stops in Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, aimed at securing hostage releases, and ceasefire negotiations are expected to resume this weekend.
Hundreds of people are without power in the Pittsburgh area after a carjacker crashed into a pole. All when we return.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Stem is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Live. A man in North Versailles is facing charges after a crash on Thursday afternoon brought down a utility pole and a transformer. 50-year-old Roger Bryce is accused of robbery, burglary, and assault following a carjacking in McKeesport. Good Samaritan Damon Ellison heard the crash and rushed to pull Bryce from his smoking car, saying, quote, just knew it would be an accident, end quote. Police arrived to find Bryce in handcuffs as he had fled from officers after a traffic stop. Ellison recalled Bryce's only request was for a cigarette, to which he responded, quote, no, I'm trying to save your life, end quote.
A truck caught on fire in Allegheny Township on Thursday after it was involved in a crash with a school bus. The Westmoreland County 911 said the crash happened near Hyde Park Road and Route 56 around 8:30 in the morning. The pickup truck was at fault running a red light when it struck a bus of 20 kids. All the children on the bus and the truck driver were unharmed. Police stated files will be charged upon investigation.
A woman has been stabbed to death in Whitehall County. Allegheny County Police reported that the stabbing happened at 1600 block of Skyline Drive around 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday night. 37-year-old Shayna Maxwell was found dead. Police are still looking for the suspect.
Shots were fired in Pittsburgh around 2 p.m. on Wednesday, which led to a police chase and crash. Police responded to the area of Werder and Herod Streets in the city's Elliott neighborhood. The vehicle involved ultimately flipped over during the crash. The suspect was pinned under and crews were able to lift the car and took the man to the hospital, where he is in stable current condition. Police stated charges are to be expected.
A man and woman running from gunfire became stuck on a hillside near the line of Brookline and Beecham neighborhoods on late Monday night. Pittsburgh Public Safety reported that the woman fell down a steep hill while running, while the man became trapped against a tree. Rescue crews were able to rescue the pair and take them to the hospital. The most recent update says they are in stable condition.
3 workers at Pittsburgh International Airport were injured on Wednesday. An airport authority spokesperson, Bob Klursik, explained the 3 contract workers suffered, quote, non-life-threatening injuries after a pickup truck hit a scissor lift, end quote. They were ultimately taken to the hospital for their injuries. Safety teams are investigating this incident and airport operations were unaffected.
A Newcastle man was sentenced to over 4 years in prison after pleading guilty to drug trafficking. Dante Blackstar, 26, was sentenced to 51 months in federal prison as well as 6 years of supervised release following his prison term for dealing fentanyl and cocaine between May of 2021 and October of 2022. The Department of Justice said that in 2022, Blackshear trafficked 20 grams of fentanyl and 100 grams of cocaine.
The Pittsburgh Zoo announced the death of Ivan the gorilla on Wednesday. The beloved gorilla passed away from a cardiac arrest during a medical procedure. Curator of mammals, Kelsey Forbes, said, quote, he was known and loved for his deep, happy rumbles and playful personality. He will always put a smile on keepers' faces with his antics, end quote. Ivan was 11 years old. Are you enjoying the show? Make sure to tune in every Friday for RMU Live, along with RMU Focus on Mondays, Sports Talk in the Berg on Wednesdays, and Colonial Sports Network on Thursday.
Coming up after the break, we check in on the world of sports as well as take a look at the upcoming forecast. So don't go away.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years and I got my 3rd child who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove. You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
Welcome back to RMU Live. This week's weather might be a little warmer than the ideal fall weather you were hoping for. We're going to send it over to Michael Deemer to hear more.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's going to be a nice 69 degrees with a 52 low, with a 56% humidity and a 9% chance of participation. Like you said, it's getting a little bit warmer. For tomorrow though, it's going to be a little bit cooler, as it's going to be 61 tomorrow with a low of 37, with a humidity of 54 and a 24% chance of participation. As we go through the week, as for the weekend, it's going to be pretty warm. 59 degrees with a 37 low, a nice 69 again with a low of 51. And then guys, it's going to get a little bit scary. 75 as your high, and then boo, 79, and then boo, 80 degrees on Halloween. It's going to be pretty warm when you get into your Halloween party, trick-or-treating, whatever the case may be, and watch out for those razor blades. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Michael. Sounds like you might not want to dig out your sweaters just quite yet.
Let's head over to the podium where Josh is ready to tell us the latest sports news.
That's right, guys. Coming off a busy week of sports here at RMU, some teams continued their reigns over their respective conferences, while others continued to taste the heat of defeat. RMU women's hockey continued their rough route of games lately, as coming off two tough losses to ranked Clarkston a couple weeks ago, they looked to pick things up against another ranked team in Princeton. Unfortunately, though, the Tigers were too much to handle for the Colonials, as they were outscored 18-2 across 2 games. They'll look to finally turn things around against St. Anselm this weekend. However, their counterparts are flying lately, as the men's hockey team is coming off a series sweep against Miami of Ohio, a match that brought Steelers legends Ben Roethlisberger and Brett Kiesel out to support. After winning 5-1 in their season opener, the Colonials opened their season at home with another win, this time 4-1. They'll look to keep things rolling when they start AHA play tonight at home against Niagara at 7 before traveling to New York for Game 2 tomorrow. Another team looking to keep their dominant run going is the men's soccer team, who currently sits alone atop the Horizon League after making light work of Green Bay last Sunday. Green Bay, who sat tied with the Colonials in the standings heading into the match, fell victim to a Colonial ambush, losing 5-0, with 2 goals from John Paul Mbuthia, a performance which saw the senior earn Horizon League Offensive Player of the Week. The Charlotte native and the rest of the team will look to take on Oakland tomorrow at 1 p.m. in Michigan. Men's soccer isn't the only team, though, to play Green Bay, as the women's team traveled to the land of cheeseheads, where they saw out a 1-1 draw against the Phoenix. They'll look to get a win against Wright State this weekend as they seek to solidify a top spot in the standings. Finally, football will look to stay undefeated in conference when they take on rivals St. Francis tomorrow at Joe Walton Stadium. The Colonials are riding a 2-game win streak, and with Anthony Chickett throwing dimes on offense and the Colonial secondary picking off opposing QBs on defense, it looks like it could be an exciting game for Colonial fans. Now to go downtown for a Pittsburgh sports update, including a positive one for most Steeler fans, as the team is coming off an exciting blowout win against the Jets last Sunday. After months of questions and years of seeking for a quarterback to lead the team to its elusive 7th ring, the city may have found its answer in Russell Wilson. The veteran QB made his debut Sunday after suffering a calf injury in preseason, and man, did he show out. Wilson passed for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Jets in a 37-15 win. They'll face the Giants on Monday night, as many watch and wonder, could this be our year? Finally, to wrap up, the Penguins will finally look to get something going as they face the lackluster Edmonton Oilers tonight at 9. That's all I have for you guys today. We'll see you next week. Back to Brett and Isabella.
I can answer that question for you, Josh. It's always the Steelers' year. But thanks for catching us up on sports. Looking for the latest news on campus, articles around the city, sports news, or some entertainment during your downtime? Well, RMU Century Media has got you covered with the latest news, as all sorts of entertainment in the form of articles, shows, and more. Head over to rmucenturymedia.com and browse away.
The grizzly bear known as 399 has passed away. More on that story when we return.
Bring it.
to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Welcome back to RMU Live.
The bear known as Grizzly 399 has died after being struck by a car. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said the bear was identified through a microchip. The 28-year-old bear was notorious for being photographed around Yellowstone National Park. She gave birth to 18 cubs, though only 8 made it to adulthood. Many workers and visitors of the park stated that she will be missed a lot.
The Justice Department has reached a settlement of over $100 million with 2 Singaporean companies after a container ship collided with Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge in March, resulting in 6 deaths. The settlement of nearly $102 million addresses a claim of negligence in the ship's maintenance. The funds will help cover cleanup costs of the disaster, but will not be used for the bridge reconstruction. U.S. officials stated the settlement ensures taxpayers will not have to burden the bill for the cleanup efforts.
This past Thursday, after potential evidence has surfaced, the Los Angeles County DA stated that he will recommend a judge resentence Lyle and Eric Menendez, nearly 30 years after they were convicted of murdering their parents. The brothers have been serving without parole since 1996 convictions of first degree. A hearing is hoped to be held within the next 30 to 45 days.
There has been a lawsuit going against McDonald's recently. With more information on this case and what it could mean for the future, we go to CNN for more news.
A Colorado man is suing McDonald's for an E. coli outbreak linked to the Golden Arches' famous Quarter Pounders.
The hottest, juiciest Quarter Pounder yet.
According to the lawsuit, the man bought and ate food from his local McDonald's in early October. 2 days later, he got sick and ended up in the emergency room, and later was diagnosed with E. coli. The man's lawsuit accuses McDonald's of product liability, negligence, and breach of implied warranties.
Consumers go to restaurants not expecting to get poisoned.
Attorney Bill Marler is representing 2 patients who fell ill in Nebraska. So far, the E. coli outbreak has led to at least 49 illnesses in at least 10 different states, including 1 death. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says beef patties or slivered onions on Quarter Pounder sandwiches are the likely source of the contamination.
If it is found that the onion supplier supplied them contaminated onions, so they can say, yes, it's my fault, I served you the hamburger, but the onion supplier needs to pay for it.
Sorry, we don't have the Quarter Pounders at the moment.
McDonald's has not responded to a request for comment about the lawsuit, but it has taken Quarter Pounders off the menu in about 1/5 of its stores. The fast food icon has also stopped using the onions and Quarter Pound beef patties in several states as the investigation continues.
I hope these steps demonstrate McDonald's commitment to food safety.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
To close out our show today, first of all, we want to say happy birthday to our favorite UNC producer and editor-in-chief, Melina Kniff.
Thank you for watching RMU Live. Make sure to tune in next week for all your latest news updates and more.